Your dog just followed you to the bathroom, again. Your cat, meanwhile, is sitting on the kitchen counter, watching you with the calm, unreadable patience of someone who has already decided the outcome of this situation and is simply waiting for you to catch up. Same house, same human, completely different energy. Most people explain this away with personality. The dog is needy, the cat is independent. The dog loves you more, the cat tolerates you. Stop right there. Because what you're actually watching in your kitchen, in your hallway, in your living room every single day is the visible output of two completely separate domestication experiments. Experiments that started tens of thousands of years apart, that took radically different paths, and that left two different sets of neurological instructions running in two very different brains, both of which are now, somehow, sharing your couch. The dog didn't choose to follow you everywhere. It inherited that drive from ancestors who lived and died by their position in a social hierarchy. The cat didn't choose to be self-contained. It never had a hierarchy to begin with. It kept the operating system it came with. This is the domestication gap, and once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Let's start with the one who was never really domesticated, not in the way we think. Your cat was not tamed, it was tolerated. That distinction matters enormously. Around 10,000 years ago, as human agricultural settlements began producing grain stores, rodents followed the food, wild cats followed the rodents, and humans, practical as ever, didn't chase the cats away. The relationship that formed wasn't built on hierarchy or commands or selective breeding for compliance. It was built on mutual convenience. The cat kept the vermin down, the human kept the grain stores full. Nobody asked anyone to change. Which means, neurologically, your cat is operating on nearly the same firmware as its wild ancestors. The solitary territorial predator protocol is still running. Every room in your home is not a room, it's a zone. Scent-marked, temperature-mapped, acoustically cataloged. Your cat knows which floorboard creaks at what pressure. It knows the exact frequency of your specific key in the lock versus your neighbor's. It has built, over months of quiet observation, a sensory model of your home so detailed that any deviation, a moved piece of furniture, an unfamiliar smell, a change in your routine, registers as environmental unpredictability, a potential threat, a reason to reassess. And here is the part that surprises most people. You are part of that map. A landmark study from Oregon State University established that domestic cats display what is called the secure base effect, the same attachment dynamic documented in human infants and their primary caregivers. In novel environments, cats consistently used their owner as an anchor point before exploring. When the owner left, exploratory behavior contracted. When the owner returned, the cat oriented toward them first. Your cat is attached to you, not performatively, neurologically. But feline attachment operates through observation, not demonstration. This is what behavioral scientists call behavioral mirroring, and in cats, it is extraordinarily refined. Research into feline sensory processing shows that cats track micro-variations in human posture, breathing rhythm, and movement cadence. Your cat knows your baseline. It knows what your breathing sounds like when you're relaxed. It knows the specific weight distribution of your footsteps when you're about to leave versus when you're just walking to the kitchen. Before you've consciously decided to go, your cat has already registered the departure sequence. The slight tension in your shoulders when you're running late, the way you pick up your bag differently on workdays, the particular jingle of keys that means you won't be back for hours. Your cat reads you like a naturalist reads a landscape, quietly, continuously, without you ever knowing it's happening. And when you leave, when the primary environmental anchor is removed, your cat doesn't chase the door. It goes to your spot. It presses into the warmth you left in the cushion. It consolidates around the highest concentration of your scent in the room, not from sentimentality, from a deeply evolved territorial stability protocol that uses you, even in your absence, as a reference point. That is not indifference. That is one of the most intimate forms of attachment in the animal kingdom. Now let's talk about the one who did change. Dogs didn't drift into human proximity the way cats did. They were pulled in, selectively bred over 15,000 years, first for function, then for temperament, then for something far more specific, the ability to read human minds. Not metaphorically, functionally. Researchers at the Clever Dog Lab in Vienna have documented that dogs devote more perceptual attention to human faces than any other species on Earth, including non-human primates raised in human environments. This isn't a learned behavior. It's a genetic predisposition reinforced over thousands of generations of selection pressure that consistently favored dogs who could interpret human emotional and intentional states. The biological mechanism behind this is striking. Dogs carry genetic variants functionally analogous to those implicated in Williams-Beuren syndrome in humans, a condition associated with extreme social drive, heightened trust toward others, and an intense focus on reading emotional cues. The domestication process didn't just make dogs friendlier, it rewired them for hyper-sociability at the genomic level. This is where referential looking becomes essential to understand. Studies conducted at the University of Milan demonstrated that when a dog encounters a problem it cannot solve alone, it doesn't persist independently. It looks back at a specific human. Not any human, the bonded human, the one it has identified as its social anchor. This behavior, previously thought to be unique to humans and great apes, is hardwired into domestic dogs as a primary problem-solving strategy. They outsource social navigation to us because, evolutionarily speaking, we are their pack leadership structure. And the physiological entanglement goes even deeper. Multiple independent studies have now confirmed cortisol synchronization between dogs and their owners, a documented sharing of hormone patterns across the human-dog bond. When your cortisol rises, your dog's cortisol rises. When you settle, they settle. This is not behavioral mimicry. It is a measurable hormonal link between two separate nervous systems. Your dog is not just emotionally responsive to you, it is biologically calibrated to you. So when you leave, when the social hierarchy loses its apex member, your dog's entire orientation system loses its primary input. The door becomes a focal point, not from separation anxiety in the clinical sense, but from an evolved imperative to maintain visual access to the pack structure. Every sound from outside is processed. Every familiar footstep pattern is compared against a stored model of yours. Your dog is not passively waiting, it is actively running a social monitoring protocol, continuously, until the hierarchy is restored. The dog isn't just missing you, it is doing the only thing its neuroscience knows how to do without you: working. So here we are, two animals, one home, one human. The dog seeks visual access because social information is survival. Its ancestors lived and died by their position in a coordinated group. Losing the group leader, even temporarily, triggers the brain's hierarchy alarm. The door is the last place you were. The door is where the information will come back from. Every wolf that survived long enough to become your dog's ancestor understood this at a cellular level. The cat performs a security sweep because territorial integrity is survival. Its ancestors lived and died by their mastery of controlled space. A perturbation in the environment, even an absent human who functions as a sensory landmark, demands reassessment. The cushion is not comfort, it is the most data-rich location in a temporarily destabilized territory. The dog asks, "Where is my hierarchy?" The cat asks, "Is my territory still intact?" Different evolutionary pressures, different neurological architectures, different expressions of the same underlying reality. Both of them need you, neither of them can quite explain why, but the biology can. There's a phrase in attachment science that I keep coming back to: the biological cost of love. Every genuine bond, human to human, human to animal, carries a neurochemical price. Oxytocin builds dependency. Cortisol synchronization means that your nervous system and your pet's nervous system are no longer fully independent. Secure attachment means that your absence creates a real, measurable, physiological response in another living creature. Your dog's cortisol spikes when you leave. Your cat's territorial security protocol activates. These are not behavioral quirks. They are the biological receipts of a bond that runs deeper than training, deeper than routine, deeper than anything you consciously built together. The domestication gap between cats and dogs is real. The neuroscience is different. The evolutionary history is different. But at the center of both stories, at the convergence point of 15,000 years of wolves becoming dogs and 10,000 years of wild cats becoming companions, is you. You are the hierarchy. You are the territory. You are the reason both of them orient toward the door when they hear your key. That is not small. That is one of the most remarkable things happening in ordinary life. If this changed the way you understand what's running beneath the surface of your home every day, subscribe. We go deeper every week. And tell us in the comments, who follows you more, the cat or the dog? The answer, after everything you just learned, might hit differently now.